At 12, two boys swore to protect me. Alexander gave me a supercar. Julian proposed on a rooftop. But on my wedding day, both had used me. When Lily Evans walked in, they let her take everything. Later, I signed a death waiver. Stole my car, crashed through a blizzard. 6 months later, I returned on General Carl's arm. Saw the two drained faces. I said, "We both deserve to die." Alexander Sterling, the billionaire heir to the Sterling Empire, planned to publicly dump me for a club girl. A club girl named Lily Evans. Furious, my father Robert Vance pulled strings to blacklist her. He intended to ship her overseas to fend for herself. Unexpectedly, Alexander did not intervene. He did not fly into a rage. He simply watched. My 18th birthday was approaching. The entire upper class of Kingston was preparing for my birthday banquet at the Vance estate. Alexander and I had been engaged since we were children. Everyone said we were the perfect match. The Sterlings and the Vances. Two empires united through marriage. But something felt wrong. Alexander had been distant lately. Cold, even. When I asked him about it, he dismissed me with a single word.
Busy.
That was all I got. I stood before the full-length mirror in my room, adjusting the sapphire necklace Alexander had given me last week. The stone matched my eyes, he'd said. Now I wondered if he'd even remember giving it to me. Downstairs, the orchestra was already tuning their instruments. Guests in haute couture gowns and tailored suits streamed through the marble foyer. My father descended the grand staircase beside me, his hand firm on the small of my back.
Eleanor, tonight, keep your smile on, no matter what happens.
He said under his breath. I looked up at him. His jaw was tight. What do you know that I don't? He didn't answer. He just squeezed my shoulder once and walked ahead to greet the first arrivals. Something was coming. I could feel it in the air, heavy and suffocating, like a storm gathering behind closed doors. The banquet hall glittered with crystal chandeliers and whispered secrets. I circulated through the crowd, smiling until my cheeks ached. Alexander arrived fashionably late, as always, but he didn't come alone. Lily Evans hung from his arm like a silk scarf draped over furniture. She wore red. Not just any red, the exact shade of crimson that Alexander had once told me was too bold for anyone but you, Eleanor. My stomach dropped. Guests exchanged glances. Murmurs rippled through the room like wind through wheat. Robert's face went dark across the room. He started moving toward us, his stride sharp and purposeful. I caught his eye and shook my head frantically. Not here, not now. Not in front of everyone. He stopped, but the damage was already done. Lily leaned into Alexander and giggled at something he whispered in her ear. Her fingers traced the lapel of his tuxedo. Possessive. Deliberate, a declaration written in body language. I turned away before anyone could see my expression crack. The balcony doors were just ahead. I needed air. I needed to breathe. Behind me, I heard Alexander's voice cut through the music.
Everyone, may I have your attention?
The room fell silent. Every head turned toward him. Toward us, toward Lily, still clinging to his arm, toward me. Standing alone near the glass doors that led out into the cold night. Alexander said,
I have an announcement.
His voice rang clear and confident through the banquet hall. Lily pressed closer to him, her painted lips curving into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I felt every pair of eyes in the room burning into my back.
This engagement
Alexander continued.
was arranged by our families a long time ago.
A pause, deliberate, calculated.
But I've come to realize that neither Eleanor nor I are happy with this arrangement.
Gasps, scattered, like broken glass across marble.
So today, I am officially announcing the end of our engagement.
The room erupted, phones came out. Whispers became shouts. Someone was already live streaming. I stood frozen, my hand still resting on the balcony door handle. This was how it ended, not in private. Not with decency, but in front of 300 people, live streamed to the world.
Thank you all for understanding.
Lily stepped forward, wrapping both arms around Alexander's waist. She said, her voice dripping with false sweetness.
Alexander and I are very much in love.
Robert exploded across the room.
You disgusting!
Mr. Vance,
One of them said evenly.
we suggest you calm down.
Alexander's bodyguards intercepted him before he could reach the stage.
Calm down? You said you got a 4 in the end!
Robert's voice cracked. Alexander looked down at my father with something close to pity.
Eleanor will find someone else. She always was. Resilient.
The way he said that word made my skin crawl. Resilient. Like I was a problem to be managed rather than a person to be loved. I pushed through the balcony doors and stepped out into the freezing night. The sound of the crowd faded behind me, replaced by the lonely whistle of wind across the mansion's rooftop gardens. I gripped the railing until my knuckles turned white. I would not cry. Not here. Not ever in front of them again. I left the banquet through the garden exit, avoiding the main hall entirely. My white supercar waited in the circular driveway, gleaming under the decorative lights. One of the valets brought the keys to me.
Ms. Vance, should I have the driver ready?
No. I'm driving myself tonight.
My voice came out steadier than I expected. I slid into the driver's seat. The leather still held the faint scent of the custom cologne Alexander had picked out for me on my birthday 5 years ago. Alexander had sat right where I was sitting now. He'd taken my hands in his and said,
"This car is yours, Eleanor. Only yours. No one else will ever sit in this seat."
I started the engine. The roar vibrated through my chest, familiar and comforting. I pulled out of the driveway and onto the main road. Kingston at night was beautiful. Skyscrapers glittered. Streetlights cast golden pools on wet pavement. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove. 20 minutes later, the GPS signal flickered and died. The engine made a strange sound, a grinding cough that no sports car should ever make. Then the power steering failed. I wrestled with the wheel, managing to guide the dying car toward the side of the road. It rolled to a stop in front of a narrow alley between two brick buildings. The neighborhood was wrong. Neon signs flickered in languages I didn't recognize. Figures loomed in doorways, watching. I reached for my phone, dead. The car's emergency system, usually so reliable, stayed silent. I unlocked the door and stepped out, my heels clicking on the grimy pavement.
Boss, princess?
A voice from the shadows, then another. And another. 3 men emerged from the alley's mouth, forming a half circle around me. Their smiles held nothing human. I tried to run. My heel caught on a crack in the pavement and I went down hard, palms scraping against rough concrete. Someone grabbed my hair, another wrenched my arms behind my back. The third, I never saw his face clearly, forced something between my teeth, a bottle. Liquid burned down my throat, bitter and chemical, making my vision swim.
Look at her. All dressed up like a doll.
She's worth a fortune, another said. Check her bag, designer everything.
One of them laughed. Another said. Phones came out, flashes blinded me. They were recording everything. I wanted to scream, but my throat had clenched shut around the terror lodged there. My mind detached. It floated somewhere above my body, watching the scene unfold like a bad movie I couldn't walk out of. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. Not to me. Not to Eleanor Vance, daughter of the Vance medical empire, fiancée of Alexander Sterling. Time blurred. When I finally became aware of myself again, I was curled on the ground. My dress was torn. My body shook with cold or shock or both. The men were gone. Their laughter echoed somewhere in the distance, fading into the city noise. I pushed myself upright. My phone was missing, my jewelry was gone. Even my shoes. One had fallen off during the struggle. I limped back to my car on bare feet. The engine wouldn't start. Of course it wouldn't. Someone had made sure of that. I slumped against the driver's side door and let the darkness swallow me whole. I don't know how long I lay there. An hour, maybe more. Headlights swept across the alley mouth. A black sedan slowed to a stop. Two men in dark suits stout. My father's security detail. They'd tracked my car's emergency beacon.
Mrs. Vance?
I couldn't speak. They helped me into the back seat, wrapped me in a wool blanket, and drove me straight to Vance Manor. My father was waiting in the foyer. One look at me and his face crumpled. He didn't ask questions. He didn't demand answers. He simply carried me upstairs to my room, laid me on my bed, and called the family doctor. The examination was quick. No permanent physical injury, the doctor said gently. But the psychological toll, he left that sentence unfinished. Morning came too fast. I refused to leave my room. But the world refused to let me hide. By noon, the story was everywhere. Photos, videos, speculation. The Vance heiress found intoxicated in red light district. Sterling heir's ex. Fiancé caught in compromising position. Sources say Alexander Sterling ended the engagement hours before the incident. My phone blew up with messages. Most were from people I'd once called friends. Are you okay? What happened? Oh my God, Eleanor, I'm so sorry. And then the other kind of message, the ones that came from numbers I didn't recognize. Slut. Whore. She deserved it. Damaged goods. I deleted them all, every single one. But the words had already burrowed under my skin, where they would fester for a long time to come. Julian Montgomery arrived that afternoon. We'd grown up together, Alexander, Julian, and I. The three of us had been inseparable since kindergarten. Julian was different from Alexander. Softer, more thoughtful. Where Alexander blazed, Julian warmed. He sat beside my bed, holding my hand with careful gentleness.
Eleanor,
His voice was low, steady.
I know you're going through hell right now,
I said nothing.
but I want you to know none of this changes how I see you.
I finally looked at him. His brown eyes held no judgment, no pity, just something that might have been warmth.
Marry me?
He said. I blinked. What?
Marry me, Eleanor.
Not because of what happened. Not because I feel sorry for you.
He squeezed my hand tighter.
Marry me. Because I've loved you since we were kids, and I was too cowardly to say it until now. Marry me. Because I don't care about your reputation or what people are saying.
The Montgomerys and the Vances have been allies for generations. Our families would celebrate this union. Deres in Breales kan vil gold paseft in this years.
And most importantly, marry me. Because I will spend the rest of my life making sure no one ever hurts you again.
I stared at him. This was Julian, my childhood friend. The boy who once carried me 3 miles through a rainstorm because I'd twisted my ankle. Julian was offering me a lifeline.
A way out of the wreckage Alexander had made of my life.
I need time.
My voice caught.
Take all the time you need.
He smiled, and for a moment, it almost looked genuine.
I'm not going anywhere.
He leaned down and pressed a soft kiss to my forehead.
Rest now, Eleanor. Everything is going to be okay.
After he left, I lay in the dark staring at the ceiling. Everything was not going to be okay. I could feel it in my bones, the shape of the trap closing around me, invisible but unmistakable. Julian's proposal was too convenient, too perfectly timed. And something in his eyes when he mentioned Alexander's name. Something that didn't match the words coming out of his mouth. The marriage registration was scheduled for the following Monday. I wore white, not a wedding dress. I wasn't ready for that. But a pristine white haute couture ensemble, it felt like armor against what was coming. The civil registry office was a modest building compared to the cathedral weddings the upper class usually favored. But Julian had insisted on simplicity.
For us, it's not about the spectacle. It's about the commitment.
He'd said. I stood in the lounge area, waiting for our appointment number to be called. Julian had stepped away to take a call. Through the half-open door of the adjacent conference room, I heard voices. 2 women, secretaries. From the sound of it, their conversation drifted toward me like smoke.
Did you hear about Mrs. Vance? I heard has been a scent of like, we don't ever go to where. A poor thing. Her reputation is ruined in the upper class, and in the end, she has to rely on Mr. Montgomery with pieces.
My blood went cold.
What do you know? To marry that little influencer, Lily Evans.
Mr. Sterling orchestrated the trap to ruin Miss Vance.
My hand flew to my mouth.
He even paid those thugs to disappear. No witnesses, no evidence. He destroyed her just to clear the way for Lily.
The second secretary lowered her voice further.
And Mr. Montgomery, he doesn't love Miss Vance either.
My heart stopped.
He's only marrying her because he's afraid she used the Vance's power to take revenge on Lily.
He wants to keep her under his nose where he can watch her. Withstanding its amoven embursages and it rapen embursers for Noxus, this prismus condits and enseed Uligrex.
It turned out that both of thee were in love with Lily.
Despair, like an invisible hand, strangled my throat. Both of them, both of the men I'd trusted my entire life. They were both in love with the same woman, the woman who had taken everything from me. And Julian's proposal, it was never about saving me, it was about controlling me. I walked out of the registry office into the bright afternoon sun. My legs felt like they belonged to someone else. Julian was waiting by the fountain in the courtyard, wearing that same gentle, warm smile that had comforted me for days. Now it made me want to scream. He saw my expression change and his smile faltered.
Eleanor? What's wrong? What's wrong? You look pale.
I pulled the marriage registration papers from my bag. I looked at them for a long moment, all those carefully printed words. All those official stamps and signatures waiting to be added. All of it built on a foundation of lies. I ripped the papers in half, then in quarters. Then I kept tearing until there was nothing left but white confetti scattered around my feet.
I'm not marrying you, Julian. Julian's expression changed instantly. The warmth drained away, replaced by something sharp and calculating. He stepped forward, gripping my wrists tightly.
Eleanor, have you lost your mind?
Right now, in all of Kingston, I'm the only one who doesn't mind your past.
His voice was a low hiss, meant only for me.
By breaking off the engagement, do you plan on being pointed at and judged for the rest of your life? I know you're still obsessed with Alexander. But if you really love him, shouldn't you just let him be happy with Lily?
My nose stung. I looked up, forcing back the tears, and asked him with a cold sneer.
So you love Lily too? You're sacrificing yourself to marry me just to let her and Alexander be together?
To stop me from hating her out of jealousy and causing trouble for Lily. You're marrying me as a decoration to keep me under surveillance, right? A trace of panic flashed across his face, but he kept denying it, his eyes rimmed with red.
Eleanor, how can you think of me like that? We grew up together. You know I'm not that kind of person.
Around us, guests and passersby had stopped to watch.
The whispers started immediately. Mr. Montgomery is only marrying her for old time's sake, yet she's throwing mud at him in public. What an ungrateful bitch. Since she doesn't appreciate his kindness, he should just cancel. I don't think anyone else would dare take her except him. Robert appeared at my side, his face dark with rage. He was about to open his mouth to defend me, to tell everyone the truth about that night. I hurriedly grabbed his hand, shook my head at him, leaned close and whispered in his ear.
Dad, don't say it. If the Sterlings and the Montgomerys join forces, we can't win.
Alexander just secured those major projects. He's untouchable right now. Alexander has everyone in his pocket now. He destroyed me for Lily, and he'd do it again. If we fight him, he'll bury us under his lies. No one will believe us now. They'll just think we're fishing for sympathy and slandering the two great families.
Robert's chest heaved with violent anger, his fists clenched at his sides.
Robert could only storm back into the building in frustration, leaving me to face it alone. Julian took my hand again, looking at me with deep affection that I now knew was an act.
Eleanor, if you're in a bad mood today, I can wait. This engagement stands forever.
As long as you promise me not to harass Alexander and Lily anymore.
I shook off his hand. My eyes were cold as ice. I won't marry you. Nor will I go look for Alexander again. Not in this lifetime. Because I'm about to. Just as I was about to reveal my plan, my real plan, a familiar engine roar cut through the air. A white supercar screeched to a curb nearby. Lily Evans stepped out, dressed in haute couture Chanel, swaying her hips like she owned the sidewalk. Her eyes found mine, and when she looked at Julian, there was a trace of subtle, lingering affection in her gaze. A fragmented light instantly lit up in Julian's eyes, but he suppressed it just as quickly. Lily walked up to me, tears flowing on command, crocodile tears bathed in artificial sunlight.
Eleanor, why did you still wear these clothes to go see Alexander today?
I'd never been to the Sterling Manor today. She was lying.
Why are you still clinging to him so tightly when you're about to get married?
The surrounding whispers became even more piercing.
You're
Just now, she was swearing she wouldn't stalk Mr. Sterling, but the moment she turns around, the official girlfriend shows up.
She really has no shame.
Mr. Montgomery even spent a fortune winning that pink diamond necklace for her. What a waste of genuine affection on a dog.
This kind of woman should be blacklisted.
Hearing that I had gone to see Alexander today, Julian's eyes turned cold. He instinctively shielded Lily, his tone full of reproach.
Eleanor, I know you look down on Lily. You think she comes from a club.
You think she isn't clean? That she isn't good enough for Alexander?
But she only worked as a receptionist at the club. She never sold her body. She is still pure. Look at yourself, Eleanor. After what happened in that red light district, you're damaged goods.
I took a deep breath. The winter wind sliced my face like a knife, stabbing straight into my heart. Yes, to whitewash Lily's background. To make her worthy of the Sterling's family prestige. Alexander had forced several media outlets to change their stories overnight. He'd even had a university professor recognize her as his influential sponsor to rewrite her past. Overnight, I became the slut spurned by everyone in the upper class. She became the inspirational, innocent goddess, the apple of Mr. Sterling's eye. Lily suddenly pointed at the ruby necklace around my neck and screamed emotionally.
You thief! You stole the necklace Alexander gave me! How could you put your filthy hands on my engagement gift?
I froze. I looked at Julian with bloodshot eyes.
Didn't you send this necklace to me last night?
Julian's eyes flickered. He avoided my gaze, yet his tone was unusually firm.
I never gave you anything, Eleanor. I nemed you agin alorsina. Don't lie just to cover up your own crimes.
You're making yourself look pathetic.
My ears filled with voices calling me a thief. Those vicious words smashed into me like stones, leaving me breathless. Enduring the tearing pain in my heart, I yanked the necklace off with trembling hands. I smashed it viciously onto the ground. The gem shattered. Shards grazed Lily's calf. I said, my voice flat.
I've never been to the Sterling Manor, so how could I possibly steal this necklace?
Lily clutched her leg. A flash of triumphant malice crossed her eyes. She wailed to the crowd.
We missed the servants at the Sterling Manor and all saw her come by today. If you don't believe me, go ask them!
A cold, deep male voice suddenly came from outside the crowd.
Lily, it's just a necklace. If she wants to steal it, let her steal it. I'll win a better one for you at auction.
After all, Eleanor and I grew up together. Let's not make things too ugly on her big day.
Alexander parted the crowd and strode over. He unceremoniously shoved Julian aside. He wrapped an arm around Lily's shoulder, his eyes burning with undisguised possessiveness.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery, for looking out for Lily. You two carry on with your business. Lily and I are heading back.
I called out to him.
Alexander, you know perfectly well I never went to your house today. Why didn't you defend me?
He stopped, turned his head. Alexander's eyes were cold as ice. He leaned in close to my ear, whispering so only I could hear.
I'm doing this so you'll finally get the message. I don't care how much you cry.
You disgust me, Eleanor. Stay on disgust you, Eleanor. Mitra Amisher, stay away from us, or I'll make sure you lose everything else.
My eyes stung terribly, yet it felt as if my tears had already run dry. My memory drifted back to our childhood. Back then, no matter who wronged me, Alexander would be the first to step up and take them down. He used to say I was his little princess, no one was allowed to bully me. Yet now, to force me away, he allowed the woman he loved to frame me in front of everyone. He didn't know that even if I wanted to cling to him, I wouldn't have the chance anymore. After tomorrow, Eleanor would no longer exist in Kingston. After they left, Julian dispersed the onlookers. Seeing my face drained of color, he grabbed my hand, his tone laced with a trace of barely perceptible guilt.
I'm sorry, Eleanor. I didn't actually buy that necklace.
Lily just tossed it to me. I saw it looked expensive enough, and since you don't have much jewelry, I thought I'd use it to help you keep up appearances.
I pulled my hand back expressionlessly.
You didn't say that just now. What good does saying it now do?
Alexander defended himself with self-righteous logic.
If I had taken your side, Lily would have looked like a monster.
Sir, you said drives. You don't out-rip her. So what's the thing if you know little one to my son?
Lily was only trying to help. She's fighting so hard to fit in. Did you really want to destroy her life? She's the apple of Alexander's eye right now. She struggled so hard to gain a foothold in the upper class.
Did you want to ruin her? Anyway, I know the truth. Knowing you are innocent is enough.
We're the ones living our lives together in the future. You don't need to care about how others look at you.
He was wrong. I no longer cared about anyone's opinion. I just felt a bone-deep chill of heartbreak toward both of them. It was a fact that Lily had framed me. Yet to shield that woman, he had personally branded me a thief. And then he had the nerve to blame me for being unreasonable. I couldn't bear to think about why the boy who once carried me for miles through a rainstorm had turned into this. I turned and walked into the villa. Returned to my room, Julian followed me. He watched as I frantically threw all those designer bags and clothes onto the floor like a mad woman. I curled up on the bed, hugging my knees, sobbing uncontrollably.
Eleanor, stop crying. I was wrong about this. I'll make it up to you double in the future, okay?
I grabbed a crystal ornament within reach. I smashed it violently toward him. The impact left a bloody gash on his forehead.
I told you! I'm not marrying you! Get the hell out!
His temper ignited instantly. His eyes snapped. He grabbed me by the throat. He slammed me against the wall so hard the pictures rattled on their nails.
If you don't marry me, who else would want you? Do you want to go be a mistress for some low-class thug?
Or do you want to be scorned and gossiped about for the rest of your life?
I only agreed to marry you out of respect for our family's long-standing ties. Yet today, you tore up the marriage papers in public and completely humiliated the Montgomerys!
I desperately clawed at his hand. I couldn't breathe. My face turned crimson. He released me abruptly. I coughed violently, gasping for air. Tears streamed down my face. I forced a smile that looked more painful than weeping.
Why have you all changed like this?
Julian watched my breakdown with cold eyes, as if looking at an insignificant stranger. I kicked him out. I sat alone in the room until darkness fell. That night, I packed my few documents and personal belongings. I intended to bid this city a final farewell. Passing the high-end jewelry store we used to frequent, I spotted Alexander and Lily walking out. I froze. I watched Alexander plant a kiss on Lily's forehead. Then, with eyes full of adoration, he slipped a pink diamond ring onto her ring finger. He said,
"It's beautiful. It suits you perfectly."
Lily seemed to spot me standing in the shadows. She lifted her chin in a provocative gesture. Turning back, she cooed at Alexander.
It's gorgeous. But didn't you fly all the way to the Middle East just to find this diamond for Eleanor? Are you sure I should have it?
Alexander gently stroked her long hair. He whispered soothingly,
I'll give you whatever you want. I'd even let you play with the Sterling group if you asked.
As for Eleanor, who is she? She doesn't even deserve to be compared to you.
Lily cast a triumphant smile in my direction. She took Alexander's arm. The two of them walked intimately into the private club nearby. In December's Kingston, heavy snow suddenly began to fall. My heart turned completely cold. I didn't want to wait until tomorrow. I returned to the villa. I left a letter for my father on his desk. Then I put my white coat back on. It felt like putting on armor. The coat I'd worn to my volunteer medical shifts before everything fell apart. I took a taxi to Alexander's private garage. While the security guard wasn't looking, I slipped inside. My supercar. The white supercar sat in its usual spot. The one Alexander had given me on my 18th birthday. The one he'd just stolen back to give to Lily. I started the engine. The roar vibrated through my chest, fierce and alive. I slammed on the gas, crashed through the barrier, sped away into the night. The guard couldn't stop me. He could only watch my taillights vanish into the darkness. I rolled down the window.
Tell Alexander!
With emotion. He parked his car directly across the entrance of our mansion. This
Is that actually true?
Julian knew Lily had been
And I heard a new virus has broken out over there. Many doctors have been infected.
Julian, why are you going crazy along with her? Aren't we brothers? If Eleanor actually had that kind of dents, she wouldn't have called me crying then just because she was afraid of the dark.
Julian
weeping like a pear blossom in rain. Then he checked the news notification on his phone.
Medical camp in Country R, Middle East attacked. Casualties unknown.
He gritted his teeth. He threw a plane ticket to Julian.
You go! No matter what it costs, you must bring her back to me. And ask her, why on earth did she leave so firmly? If she's doing this out of spite, I'll apologize to her personally. Alice, we grew together. I can't just watch her die. Killer like him.
I smiled faintly. I tossed the bloody gauze into the tray. Julian, you know the answer perfectly well. Why ask me? Fighting back the nausea rising within me, I refused to look at him. Go back. Tell Alexander that I, Eleanor, will never return in this lifetime. Carl's murderous gaze locked onto Julian, forcing him to take a frightened half-step back. Before leaving, Julian left one last remark.
Eleanor, seeing that you're doing well, I'm relieved. If you ever regret this, call me anytime. Alexander and I will come to get you.
I merely chuckled at his words. Go back and tell Alexander that whatever bond we shared over the last decade ends today. We are finished. From now on, in life, my soul belongs to this land. In death, I shall be buried beneath these deserts.
Julian stood frozen for a long moment. The desert wind whipped sand against his face. He opened his mouth as if to say something else, but no words came out. He turned and walked away.
in Kingston. They invited our team as special guests.
I smiled coldly.
I don't know. Isn't it Alexander's?
She tilted her head back arrogantly, her voice shrill.
Of course it's not his Miz. I was already pregnant before I even met him.
Then is it Julian's?
To tell you the truth, even I don't know which client this child belongs to.
You're two good brothers. One treats me like a chebble and raises a bastard for me, while the other thinks the child is his and obeys my every command. It's hilarious.
You and this bastard both deserve to die.
The day my life was ruined. Not even when I heard